About that in a second. But I want to jump right into things that you guys should have been doing by now. So one of the major things that if you're a senior in high school right now and you're planning to go to college, one of the things you should have by now is a college list. How many of you have a college list already, colleges that you're thinking about applying to? And that college list is very important because by now, there are things that you need to be doing for this process. That college list, usually you divide it into three type of categories, three different types of schools that you wanted there. Does everybody know the three types of schools you divide the list on? Yes, sir. All right, well, SUNY, CUNY, private are the different types of schools that you can apply to. That's great. But what I'm looking for is the categories that you should put your schools into. So I could be applying for some SUNYs, I could be applying to some CUNYs, and I could be applying to some privates, but I divide those into three different categories. So come the spring, for sure, I'm going to get into at least one school. So who can tell me? Back here, man? All right, reach, right? Reach. What else? Reach, match, and safety. And does everybody know what that is? What they mean? What is a reach school? Yes.
It's the school that you may have a may have a test score.
Right. You're not sure if you're going to have enough to get into the school, but you still want to apply there. It's like your dream school. Like if I have a dream school and it's a highly selective college, one of the things that I might be doing if I really want to go there is that I might actually be doing something called early decision to the school. All right? Does everybody know early decision? That is, you apply early. You have to apply by November 1st. You have to have all your requirements in. But if there's some schools that don't have an early decision option, but the reach school is a school that you really want to go to. You're trying your best to get there. You have some of the things, but you don't have everything. Now, the reach school is going to be different for each student. There might be a student where Queens College might be a reach school for them. But there might be other students that Queens College is actually a match school for them. And what is a match school? Right, so you're a good match. It's just like what the word says. You have what the school requires. It has the program that you want to study. If you want to play basketball, it has a basketball team. All right? And maybe the coach, your high school coach or your travel coach has already told you, listen, you have a chance to make that team. Maybe you're in contact with that coach. Because as an athlete, one of the aspects you also got to look at schools is if you want to play college sports, you want to make sure the school you're applying to has the program, has that in there, and that you are a match when it comes to your ability as a basketball player to make the team, to have a chance to make the team. All right, so those are things that are also very important. And the last type of school that you put is your safety. And the word says it, pretty much it's a school that you know you're going to get in no matter what. Now, one of the things that you do with the safety is that you should always put a safety in there that also you take into account the finances of the process. So the safety is a school that you can not only get in, but a school that you can afford. So that is important. Now, at this time of the process, looking at how much a school costs is not that important because you're not going to know exactly how much you're going to have to pay for a school until the spring. So it's extremely important that right now, if you have the grades to get into a school, do not look at the price tag and you're like, oh, that's too expensive for my family. You're not going to know how much you're going to pay for school until the spring when you get something called a financial aid package. And we're going to talk a little bit about that in a second. But by now, there are other steps that you should have taken. The reason why I keep looking at my phone is to have my outline in here. So don't think that I'm trying to text you. But there are some things that you should have done by now. So in New York City, we have the SAT day, which is in the spring. Everybody took their SATs, correct? Yes? How many of you have signed up to retake it, though? Good. Because if you haven't, I don't know if you know, but there's only one more chance if you're a senior to retake that test. And that is in December. November is already too late to register because now you have to pay the late fee. December, there's still some schools that have seats available. But as you know, if you're planning to play a D1 or a D2 school, you have to do the NCAA clearinghouse registration, and they look at your SAT scores and your GPAs. If you don't have the SAT score right now that matches to your GPA, and in the booklet you have the sliding scale of how to do it, not the one with the blue basketball picture. So if you don't have that score to be eligible to play, because if you're talking to a school in here right now, one of the first questions that the coach is going to ask you is about your transcript and about your SAT scores. And even if it's not a D2, D1 school, if it's a D3 but it's a private school, they're going to speak to you about your SAT scores because many private schools attach their financial aid money to your SAT scores. A lot of the private schools attach their SAT, the money they give you to something called academic or merit scholarships. There's two types of scholarships you can get, three types. Athletic, which you can all be eligible if you're really good. As you know, there's very few of those that they give out. There is the need-based financial aid, which is based on your family need. Okay, if your family doesn't make a lot of money, or the income is considered low by the standards of financial aid, you might get a lot of money based on need. And the other one is the academic type. And the academic type is based on your SAT score. If you get an SAT score of 1200 or higher, there might be a school that says to you, listen, I cannot give you a full ride when it comes to an athletic scholarship. I can go halfway with you, but because you have such a good SAT score, my school is willing to give you this other scholarship, and boom, you can go for free. So sometimes all the money doesn't come from your athletic ability. Especially most Division II schools, they're not going to be able to give you a lot of money. They don't have the money that D1 schools have. And also, D3 schools, I'm not sure if you're aware, you cannot get athletic money from them. So that means that all your money has to come in two forms from there. Either need-based financial aid or academic money. So if you have not registered to retake the SATs, and you are close enough to get into a very good score, you want to retake it. You want to do that. What is one reason? There's something called super score. Can somebody tell me what that is? Yes, sir. Correct. So most colleges, and not only colleges, but also the NCAA, they will actually do super scoring. And super scoring is like when you took the March SAT, right? Let's say you got a 500 in the reading, and then but you only got like around a 450 in the math. And now you took it in the fall, and your score for English stayed around 500, it's around the same, but your math went up to 600. They're going to use your math from the fall and your reading from the spring and combine those two scores. So that student score is actually an 1100. So if you don't retake the test, and this happens all the time, that students say, well, I took it already, I'm satisfied, I have what I want, I don't need to retake it. But then you don't take advantage of super scoring. So make sure you retake it. You only have one more opportunity. And even if you take it in December and you still don't have the scores, let's say that you're speaking to a D1 or a D2 school and they're telling you, listen, you still don't have the SAT score to be eligible. You still can retake it in the spring and get that score. So stay on top of that. Remember that the SAT you can take for free. Schools get fee waivers. You took the one in March for free because it was SAT day, but schools have fee waivers, and the amount of fee waivers has decreased from College Board because now most of them are given to you electronically. You have to speak to your college counselor to see if you were approved for one of those. But usually if you get free or reduced lunch, you can get a fee waiver that allows you to take the test twice for free. That fee waiver can also waive another important fee that you have to pay. Does anybody know what that is? What's another fee that you have to pay? If you're doing the NCAA, well, college applications, yes, you get free or reduced lunch, and usually if you get an SAT fee waiver, you can qualify for a lot of fee waivers. You will not have to pay pretty much for any college application. But if you're planning to do NCAA, if you're planning to play college basketball in a D2 or a D1 school, one of the things you have to do is you have to pay a registration fee for the NCAA, and it's $90. And if you get free or reduced lunch, or you are approved for a fee waiver for the SATs, that fee can be waived. You can request it when you're creating your account. The person in charge of that, each school has a person who's in charge of what is called the NCAA clearinghouse in your school. that person has to log in and approve that fee waiver. If not, then you end up paying the $90. Well, you can still make the account now. You should have done the account a long time ago, yes, during junior year to start the process, because you're supposed to send in your transcript now to start evaluation. One of the things, if you do it late, like we've had students in the past who start this whole process very late, and every credit that you have, every class that your school has offered to you must be on that school's account with the NCAA. So what happens is sometimes a school offers a new course, but the NCAA website doesn't get updated. Nobody goes into the school and update the account with that new class. Let's say you took that class and you're doing everything late. You might not get that course approved by the NCAA, and then you might end up having everything delayed. If you were going to get a scholarship, you might not get it. That's happened in the past. So doing this stuff early is very, very important. You guys should be doing that right now. If you haven't done it yet, you should be going on the website, which is on the packet that I gave you today. So apart from SATs, another of the things that you should be doing, or you should have done by now, is you should have met with your guidance counselor, make sure that your program matches everything that you need to graduate this year. There's no surprises coming along in June when you're supposed to graduate. So you want to make sure you have all the credits, you want to make sure all your regions are taken care of. That is also extremely, extremely important. The other thing you should have, if you plan to apply to schools that require letters of recommendations, you should know by now who's writing those letters. Most schools are going to ask you to put two letters of recommendations if they require them, no more than 2. Schools who want to get 10 letters, probably not going to have the time to read them. So don't try to get a letter from every teacher. Just try to get 2 strong letters from 2 people who really know you very well. Most of the time they want letters from either 11th grade or 12th grade teachers. 9th grade teachers don't really tell them much because you're a different person than you were in 9th grade. So try to take somebody who you had in 11th grade or 12th grade, maybe your basketball coach from high school, can write you a letter. If you have an outside person that you want to write your letter, many schools will accept that, but it will be as an other letter, not an academic one. So it will have to be in addition to the one from the school. So doing that is extremely important. And the reason why letters are important is because sometimes, the young man, there was one of you guys who said before at the beginning, that sometimes you have the average but you don't have the SAT for a school. Nobody has everything that a school wants. It's very hard to have everything that a school wants. But if you have strong grades, and let's say your SAT score is not very strong, but then you come up with a very strong letter of recommendation, and you've done extracurricular activities in your school, and you write a strong college essay, all these other aspects can make up for you not having the high SAT score, and you can still get into the college that you want. So colleges look at all of that. They don't try to make a decision just based on SAT and GPA. There are other aspects. Maybe this year your grades go up a lot. Some schools you can submit your mid-year grades, and they can look at them and see that you're doing a lot better. So these things are very, very important. They can make a huge difference. So your senior year, if your grades this year still are going to count. So don't think that because, oh, I have a high average now. Many schools require mid-year grades. And if your grades go down a lot during the senior year, that can create problems later on for you getting into a school. Because sometimes a school has 2 kids that look exactly, the admissions profile is the same. Similar GPA, similar everything. Then they got to use one thing to make that final decision. They might say, well, let me look at the senior year grades. Let's say one student did very well, the other one did poorly. You know who they're going to take at that point, because it will be one determining factor. So there's so many factors that are going into the decision from a school. It's not just one. So do not think that because you have a low SAT score that you cannot get into a really good school. All right? And don't think that because you have a high SAT score, but you have maybe your GPA is not as high, that you cannot get into school. It's all a process. You got to look at all the different things that they're asking for you. See how much time we have left. We still have time. Spoke about that. Okay. So one of the major things that you guys should be doing now, and we spoke about it briefly before, is your FAFSA application, your financial aid application. Why should you do your application for financial aid as early as possible? You could get more money. That's really the question. Think of financial aid as that table, right? So that table right there, and there's just cash on top of that table. And then you're all lining up, coming out from that gym. You're all lining up to get the cash. All right? Those who are in front of the line are probably going to be able to grab the most. Those that come at the end of the line are probably going to have a very small pile. There are grants out there that the government has set up that will run out. There are two grants that probably just stay about the same. One is called the PSAL grant, which is from the federal government. Okay, it can be worth up to $6,200. Okay, and that grant is probably not going to run out. It's probably going to stay about the same if you apply now or if you apply later. There's also another grant from the state of New York. It's called TAP, New York State Financial Aid. That grant you can only receive if you go to a college in New York State. You leave the state, let's say you go to school in New Jersey, you actually lose that grant. That grant can be worth up to $5,000. Between those two, you can receive over $11,000 in grants. Now, does everybody know what a grant is? Yes. It's free money. You never have to pay it back. So when you get a financial aid package, you actually want to see the word grant or scholarship on it. You don't want to see the word loan. Because loans you have to pay back. You have to be careful with that aspect of it. But there are a couple of other grants that do run out. Has anybody heard of this thing called work study? So can somebody give me an idea of what work study is? Yes or no? Right. You get a job from the school, you work on campus, and they pay you. That money comes from your financial aid. If you do your financial aid application now, okay, you could probably be eligible for work study because there's work study money available. But if you do your financial aid application in January, that money's going to be gone. You're not going to have the opportunity of doing work study, and that could be worth $3,000. If I'm going away to school, let's say I'm going away to a SUNY school, and I get the $5,000 from the state and the $6,000 from the federal government, that's $11,000. But to go to Binghamton, let's say, it takes about $20,000 a year because you have to pay for room and board. So if I lose out on the work study, I lose $3,000. So if you do your financial aid now, you can get that money. So that's important. The other thing is there's another grant called FSEOG. And that grant, each school is given a certain amount of money. Let's say a school is given $5 million from the federal government. Once that runs out, once the school has put that money aside to all the different students that have applied to them, that money's gone also. So the earlier you do your financial aid, the better. What I've given you there, and again, if you remember anything, is really to take this with you today. Because if you go home today, you'll be able to do financial aid on your own. It's very, very simple. 1, 2, 3, you could do this today with this handout that we've given you. So again, that is one of the things that is extremely important that you should be doing now apart from your college applications. Do your financial aid application by December 1st. All right, you're going to need your parents' taxes from 2018, not the ones that they just did now in the spring. And the other thing is don't do the incorrect form. There's 2 forms that you have to do. I'm sorry, 1 form. The application is in 2020, 2021. That's when you're going to be in college. Many students do the 2019, 2020 because they think that it's this year's form. No, you got to do one for the future when you're going to be in college. So it's 2020, 2021. Some of you, depending on what schools you're planning to apply, but if you're applying to Ivy League schools or highly selective colleges, you might also be required to do a form called a CSS profile that you do with the College Board. And that application each school has a different deadline on it, so you should start looking into it. That is to qualify for need-based financial aid from these highly selective schools. So again, financial aid, extremely, extremely important that you guys do that as early as possible. Remember, we spoke about fee waivers for our college applications. Each school has received fee waivers from the City University of New York. So if any of you are planning to apply to a CUNY school, let's say Queens College, City College, any of these schools, each school received a number of fee waivers that will be given on a first-come, first-served basis. And that can save you $65 if you qualify for that waiver. If you qualify for the SAT fee waiver, then you can apply to multiple colleges for free. Because as long as you tell the schools that you received one, they will approve a fee waiver. So keep that in mind as you're applying to college. Try to do your applications. In my opinion, most applications, you should be done with your application applications by January 1st. January 1st is the deadline to really complete all your applications. Each school is different though. If you're planning to do early action or early decision, you're going to have to do that actually in the month of November. All right? So that is going to be something that is going to be coming up. Any questions so far? No? All right. One of the things that many students forget to do is to submit their SAT scores. After you take the SATs, it is extremely important that you go online and that you actually send the SAT scores to the colleges. They don't go there magically. So make sure that you go to a college board. If you're not planning to take the SAT and you already know where you're applying, make sure that you send in the SAT scores as soon as possible. If you're applying to CUNY, you only need to submit the SAT scores to the code 2950 or CUNY UAPC. You do not need to submit the scores to every single CUNY school that you apply to. You only have to send it to one institution. Sometimes you have to pay to send the scores. If you didn't get a waiver for the SAT, you have to pay for these. So if you apply to 10 colleges, it can actually become very, very expensive. So this will be very helpful because for CUNY you only send it to one. To SUNY, you have to send it to each specific school that you apply to. And for private, it's the same way. You have to send it to each particular school that you apply to. So this can save you some money. If you only send it to CUNY UAPC, they will then submit the scores to all of your other schools. Don't forget to add your teachers into your application so they can submit their letters of recommendation. So letters of recommendations, most schools don't require you to mail them anymore. Everything is done directly with the application. For example, both CUNY and SUNY allow teachers to just upload applications through their system. In my school for SUNY, I usually upload the SUNY applications. For CUNY, the students just have to add the teacher's email on the application and the application gets uploaded. You do not have to wait until the letters are ready or until the SAT scores come out if you're doing the December SATs or until you complete the essay to really submit your application. Both CUNY and SUNY allow you to apply first and submit these documents later. All right? Hey Danny, how are you? Other schools require you to submit the essay with the application. So you have to be aware of what is the process for each particular school. But I can tell you that for CUNY, you can already start submitting applications and then submit the extra documents that they want you to do. So that is something that is extremely important. The other before I forget, for the SATs, the scores, besides going to the colleges, they also have to be sent to the NCAA clearinghouse. So make sure that they have to come directly through the college board. You cannot go up to the school and tell your counselor to send the SAT scores. They actually have to go directly through college board in order for them to accept it. So make sure they're going to be on the college board. When you go to the part that says send scores, they're also going to be there. So that's something that is going to be very helpful if you do it early. Again, always send your last score. So if I'm taking the December SATs, I'm going to go to college board and I'm going to select to send the December SAT scores. So the college board will then send all of my scores together. You don't have to send each one individually. You can just send one at a time. Let's see. What happens after you apply is that you have to make sure that all of your documents, of course, go in. Make sure that the letters go in. Check with your teachers to make sure that they're submitting the letters. Do not wait until, if you have a deadline of January 1st, do not wait until that day to ask the teacher, oh, did you submit the letter? Check with them on a regular basis that they're submitting the letters. Sometimes teachers get very busy, they forget to do something. And again, most schools, if you have a deadline, they're going to ask you to submit everything by the deadline. They're not going to want to receive something after the deadline. You don't want to be stuck in that situation. So make sure those go in. Make sure that your counselors are taking care of your transcripts, that the transcript is sent to the places you're applying, so have a clear communication with them. Make sure that they know where you're applying so that they can submit the transcript to the correct places. For CUNY, if you're applying to CUNY, counselors actually do not have to send any transcripts unless you went to a school outside of New York State. Outside of New York City, I'm sorry. If you went to a school outside of New York City, your credits are not going to be all in that transcript, the grades are not going to be there. But if you just went to New York City Public School, all your credits are there. When you're applying, they ask you for your ID number, for your OSIS number. You put that in and they can upload your transcript through there. The same thing happens with SUNY. If you do the SUNY application, you put your ID number and they upload your transcript. The only way that a counselor has to submit a transcript is if you are doing the Common App or if you're doing a private school application that is going to require you to then send the transcript on from the school. So make sure that the schools are sending that and taking care of that. So those three things are very, very important that you do after you apply. Around the spring, you're going to start getting your acceptance letters. And it is very important, though, as you're getting your acceptance letters, you also review the financial aid packages that you're getting from each school. Sometimes a school might tell you, you might look at the financial aid package and make it a little confused. It says, it's going to cost you $40,000 to come here, and here's your financial aid package, we're giving you $40,000. And you might be very happy. You're like, wow, they're giving me a full ride. I'm all set. And then you forget to look at the fact that on there were some loans attached to your financial aid package. As a freshman, you can only take around $5,500 in loans max in your name. Any other loan that you take after that is either going to be on your parents or it's going to have to be a private loan that you take on your name with a co-signer. So be careful with loans. When you receive your acceptance letters, after that you're going to get your financial aid package. Review it with your family. Don't just sign on the dotted line and be like, I'm taking that. Review the loans. Make sure it's something you can afford. You don't want to get yourselves into a lot of debt right away. My hope is that all of you get a full scholarship athletic, for D1, D2 school. That'd be great. But most of the time that doesn't happen. There's very few of those. So looking at the financial aid package is very, very important. The other thing is if your financial aid package is not good enough, let's say that you really want to go to a school and they're giving you, out of the $40,000 it's going to cost you to go there, they're giving you $32,000. And you feel that you really want to go there, but the school's not giving you enough money. You can always appeal the financial aid package. You can write a letter to the financial aid office requesting more money. Then many times, if they really want you, they'll try to get you the money somehow. You can always submit extra things. Maybe they have other scholarships that became available. But if you don't say anything, sometimes they just want to sign them to anybody. So doing that actually might be able to get you enough money to get through school. Most CUNY and SUNY are probably not going to do that because they're public institutions, so they're limited on the funds. But I would say that a lot of the private schools are willing to give you guys that extra money that you need to get there, to get in, and if you have what it takes to get the scholarship. Accept your financial aid packages and the school that you want to go to by May 1st. May 1st is decision day. It's a national thing, so all schools are going to have that as a deadline for you to pick your schools. Make sure that by that day, you know exactly if that college is going to be your fit. Right? That's why you want to have more than one. You don't want to have just one school by May 1st. You want to have multiple. So that if you really wanted to go away to school, you have a school that's going to give you that opportunity to experience that. And try to visit each school. Don't just go by what you see on the posters. The posters have a purpose, and that is to get kids in. Visit the schools. If you haven't visited the school that accepted you, many times they will do a tour for accepted students. Even if it's a school upstate, they will bring you up there. Many times for free. They try to bring New York City kids up there. So try to visit the school, get to experience the school, talk to people who go to the school. You don't want it that when you get there is when you realize, oh, I made a huge mistake. Why am I here? This is not the place that I thought it was going to be. So make sure that you research that. That is extremely important. I see many kids sometimes that have never gone to the school they get accepted to, and when they get up there, they're like, well, this is not what was on the poster. It doesn't look anything like what it was. So make sure that you guys visit the schools. It's extremely, extremely important. It's like when you're buying a house. You don't want to buy a house without looking at the house inside, right? So it's the same thing you're doing right now. You're looking at the place that you're going to spend hopefully the next 4 years of your life, and then you want to make it a fun experience for you, right? Arrange for your final transcripts to be sent to that school that you pick. Many times kids will forget to send the final transcript, not only to the college that they're going to, but also to the NCAA if you're planning to play D2 or D1 basketball. Make sure that they get that transcript, that final transcript that says that you actually graduated. Now, one important thing with your transcript. Most transcripts in New York City will not show your graduation date until about July, say after July 4th. I work in summer and I usually look at the transcript. I'm the one that sends the final transcripts out. So if you go to your school and you request your final transcript to be sent on June 26th, and the lady who's doing the transcript just decides to send them, no school is going to accept them unless it has the actual graduation date stamped on the transcript. So it's extremely important that you send it after July 4th if you don't arrange it for before. Each school is going to have their own procedures to do that. If you're going to a CUNY, that's going to be done automatically. They're going to pull your final transcript out, but sometimes you might get an email from the school saying, listen, we need your final transcript. Make sure you go to the school and get it in, because if you don't, they will not be able to award you the financial aid. Because in order for you to get financial aid, you must be a high school graduate. So make sure that you take care of that. That step is a very, very important step. And the final thing I want to talk to you guys about a little bit is something called verification when it comes to financial aid. So once you submit your financial aid application and after you get accepted to college, some schools might send you a letter that says you've been selected for something called verification. And verification is done randomly. All right? Some students get selected, some students don't. And that is when they ask you to submit actual documents from your family situation. So they might ask for a copy of your parents' taxes from 2018, that you have to submit. And many times kids will get this email and they will not pay attention to it. And I gotta tell you, I've seen many students lose financial aid because they didn't complete the process of verification. So if you get an email or if you get a letter at home saying that you've been selected for verification, make sure you go right away to your counselor so you can start gathering the documents that you're going to need for that. It is extremely, extremely important that you do that because you don't want to lose out on financial aid that you have earned. If you don't submit the documents, you usually have a deadline. On the letter it says you must submit these documents within 15 days. So when you do your applications, make sure that whatever email you put on your application is an email that you're checking regularly. Because if you get an email and you check it after the deadline, it might be too late for them to award you the money. So that is something that is extremely important in this process. Everything that you really want to make sure that your email that you're applying with is an email you're going to check every single day. That the email you put for financial aid is the same email for your college application. Because you don't want to be that student who forgot to check the email, and because you didn't submit that document within 2 weeks or whatever the letter they sent you, you lose out on your financial aid. And it happens every single year. Things are getting very, very difficult when it comes to that. Any questions? We have like 2 minutes for questions. If you guys have any questions about anything with the district. No? Good? So that's really it from me. Make sure